Hey guys, Hitman89 here. I hope you're doing great. Last time we had the best MMORPGs of all time, and today we're gonna be looking at the best third-person games of 2023 so far. Let's not make this intro any longer, and let's have a look at the first game on my list, which literally just came out. Remnant 2 is better than the first one in pretty much every aspect. For those of you who haven't played the first one, Remnant is basically Gears of War with RPG elements and where you gotta make it to the next checkpoint in one piece. You can play it offline, solo, or online with up to 2 people, and it's both fun and challenging. I thought I was a badass, so I went with the veteran difficulty, but I got my ass kicked and ended up dying every 5 minutes. When you play the game, you'll notice that, apart from the Souls-like elements, Remnant 2 also draws some of its inspiration from Resident Evil 4. I played this game on Series X, and honestly, I was impressed by the graphics. I didn't expect it to look this good. So if you wanna play a looter shooter with procedurally generated levels, and where you can choose between 4 classes and switch between them at will, then get Remnant 2. And that's gonna be the only multiplayer game on this list. Let's have a look at number 2. Final Fantasy 16 is one of those games that you have to actually play to appreciate, because I've seen the trailers and I wasn't really excited to play it until I tried the demo. Then I got the full game, and although it's easy, a little too linear, and the frame rate is as stable as a box of fucking dynamite, Final Fantasy 16 still manages to be addictive and fun to play. Oh, and it's mature now, so there's a little bit of sex, cussing, and blood, and that's probably why it's my favorite Final Fantasy game now, after FF9. So if you like games where you mash square 99% of the time and where you have like 3 seconds to react to quick time events, then you'll love Final Fantasy 16. Let's move on to the third game. Resident Evil 4 might not actually be scary, but you won't be completely chilled while playing it either. Those sections where you're trapped in a house and you have to survive waves of zombies can be really stressful. I beat the game in like 3 days and I loved every second of it. Kicking zombies in the face and suplexing them is not only fun, but also it's mandatory at times to avoid running out of ammo. You play as Leon Kennedy and you have to save the president's daughter who got abducted in Spain by some cult. Parrying, being able to use stealth, and shooting while moving are definitely welcome additions in this remake. Plus, as you can see, the game looks pretty damn good. So if you haven't had the chance to play it yet, try to pick it up when it's on sale. Now at number 4 we have one of the best and most underrated games of 2023, Forspoken. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. That shit was terrible. Let's have a look at the real number 4 now. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart just landed on PC after a year of PS5 exclusivity, and it still looks breathtaking. Seriously, this is one of the few actual next-gen looking games out there. The gameplay is great too. You get to use a bunch of cool weapons, and they all feel unique thanks to the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers support. The game is very enjoyable to play, and it's not easy, because based on the visual style, you might think it's for kids. It's not. But if you want a more mature, more hardcore third-person shooter that also landed on PC this year, there's Returnal. Speaking of mature, at number 5 we have The Last of Us Part 1. It first came out on PS5 last year, and 4 months ago it had a PC port, which sucked dick. Good thing it's much better now. Anyway, every fight in this game is intense. And that's probably because the AI is awesome and the gameplay allows you to mix melee and range combat, which results in some dope cinematic experience. However, since this is still a PS3 game with a graphical overhaul, some gameplay design choices will definitely feel outdated. But this is basically for PC users who never got to play The Last of Us before. I think it's time to check out the 6th game. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is basically a slightly better Fallen Order. Well, performance-wise, it's kinda the same though, meaning it sucks. It's crazy how many unoptimized games we've been having lately. It's almost like people should stop pre-ordering games, right? Anyway, Jedi Survivor can be quite challenging, it looks good, and it's fun to play, so maybe pick it up when it's like $30. Moving on to the 7th game, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, I've only seen like 1 movie, and I didn't even like it that much. Probably because I'm straight. That didn't prevent me from playing Hogwarts Legacy though. I really like the animations here, they make the world more interesting to explore. Too bad you can can barely interact with the NPCs though. At least you can create your own character and customize your gear. And that's all I have to say about this one, so let's just take a look at number 8. And even though at the moment of making this video, Lies of P is not out yet, you can play the demo now, then decide whether or not this Bloodborne copycat is worth your money. And yeah, it's not just inspiration at this point, they straight up copied it. Long story short, on this game you play as Pinocchio and you gotta beat the shit out of these mechanical puppets. At number 9, we're gonna be looking at a solid Game of the Year contender, especially if you like 3-hour-long tutorials. Tears of the Kingdom builds upon Breath of the Wild's core and adds some interesting game mechanics that allow players to express their creativity. Cause on this sandbox game, you have tools like Ultra Hand and Fuse, and they allow you to pick up objects and even attach them to each other. That being said, merging objects and weapons isn't optional. You have to do it, cause everything still breaks after like 2 hits. Oh, and while playing Tears of the Kingdom, you'll come across these cute creatures that you gotta help reach their friends by crafting some kind of vehicle or tool to carry them. Shrines are still part of the game, so you'll have to solve plenty of puzzles. Last but not least, we have At Last Fallen. And even though it's made by the same guys behind The Surge, this isn't a Souls-like at all. Here, you'll be sand surfing, fighting giant dudes, and talking to her gauntlet for some reason. Speaking of which, the voice acting here is pretty bad. The story is okay, I guess. Good thing the gameplay is interesting and deep enough though. And that's gonna be it for the best third-person games of 2023 so far. But before I end this video, let me show you a couple of honorable mentions from late 2022. A Plague Tale Requiem finally got a 60 FPS patch, so if you haven't played this beautiful stealth game yet, you might want to try it out, especially if you have Game Pass. What's definitely not on Game Pass though is God of War Ragnarok. This 30-hour journey was probably stretched out a little bit too much, but it's still epic. Plus you could probably pick up the game for cheap now, so go for it. Don't forget to hit the like button if you want to see part 2 in a few months when we finally get the new Assassin's Creed and Spider-Man 2. Next we'll have the best RPGs of all time from PS1 to PS5, so subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's been Hitman89, see you guys very soon.
For the pay stub or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh. Fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up. Play the game, bruh.